Hello, welcome to this episode of 49 Faithfully. I'm your host, Miriah Lee, and as always, joined by my co host, TL. What's up, TL?
Nothing much. What's going on, Niner fam? Just want to wish you guys, hope you guys had a good Christmas. Got everything you wanted, got your kids, your significant others, some good gifts. So yeah, I had a pretty good Christmas. Nice and relaxing. I made some chicken fajitas, rice and beans, real simple.
It's good. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been live, so we've passed Christmas, like 2 games already. A lot's happened.
Yeah, it has.
So yeah, I hope everybody had a great holiday as well. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. Things are getting crazy.
Yes, it is.
Here,
Hey, Sam.
anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
Good old
Sid.
Vegas.
Hey, Joel. Tanya. So yeah, I mean, we haven't been live since we've played the Falcons. So we beat the Falcons pretty good, 31-13.
Hmm.
And then last Thursday we lost to the Titans. So before we jump into those games, though, let's talk about some recent news that's going on.
Okay.
This week, as we started practice, our QB1 at the moment was nowhere to be found. It later came out that he had a right thumb injury, that I guess he got it in the second quarter of the Titans game. He did, however, obviously finish that game and we lost. But he hasn't been at practice all week. Today is Thursday, and he didn't practice today either, which means Trey Lance is getting QB1 reps right now. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited about it. It's unfortunate that Jimmy had to get hurt because I never want somebody to pass over the quarter position for that reason. It should always be because you're not playing well or somebody has overtaken you, for your position. But, this is all what I feel like 80% of the fans have wanted at least, even if it wasn't from week one, at least, from half the season, everybody's been calling for Trey, so I'm happy for him. I don't think that Jimmy's going to play. I just, it's one of those things where, Kyle's kind of playing some mind games with the Houston Texans right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, I'm just waiting for. I think tomorrow they'll probably announce it. Saying, "Hey, Trey's going to be our starter quarterback come Sunday." So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too. And like you said, I didn't want it to happen this way, of course. And um, I do feel like Trey will start this week as well. And I think that probably means that we saw Jimmy in a 49ers uniform for the last time. I think it's kind of ironic that he ends his 49ers career injured,
huh,
you know. But I mean, I wish him all the best. I'm thankful for, 2019, the end of 2017, like I wish nothing bad on the guy.
sure,
I wish him well wherever we trade his ass away. And yeah, I'm ready for Trey.
yeah, same
Um,
here. Do you mind if I bring up something that Kyle said in the press conference?
oh, go ahead.
So, and I don't know if I'm looking too much into it. What's going on, fam? So Kyle was saying, somebody asked him, I don't know which reporter it was. They were like, "Hey, do you think Trey's going to start?" And of course, he was just like, "Well, we don't know yet. We'll know more in the middle of the week. Towards the end of the week or whatever." But the thing that kind of caught my attention was he said, "Yeah, if Trey starts, don't expect it to be perfect." And I'm like, was that necessary to say? Like, of course, it's not going to be perfect, but I feel like, you've had such bad quarterback play. Why would you even make a comment like that? Like Jimmy's been playing lights out. So it's not like you got a quarterback who was playing perfectly. And obviously nobody's perfect, but you understand where I'm coming from. It's not like, Jimmy's been blowing the doors off. And then you say, well, Trey might play, and it's not going to be perfect. But I'm just like, I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I'm probably looking too much into it. Like, I don't know if he's just saying that to kind of say, okay, if Trey plays, like, don't be too hard on him. That could be it. But I don't know, for him to say, like, don't expect it to be perfect, like, any logical fan will know that he's going to understand that Trey's a rookie and he needs his reps. So I don't think any of us expect it to be perfect. So I don't know
But
if you heard that or not, but
the key word there is logical fans. And I've
Mm-hmm.
seen a lot this last week on Twitter that, oh, I don't care if Trey's a rookie and it's his second start, he gets no excuses and, all this stuff. So, I mean, there is still a portion of the fan base that it seems, is wishing the guy to fail or,
Yeah.
like
Well,
is going to be
yeah.
holding him, expecting him to go in and, carry us to the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, no, and you're right. So, it's funny, I guess like you said, the key word there was logical because I feel like, there's a lot of fans that are, expecting Patrick Mahomes right out the gate. Like he's just going to go in there and throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And it's like these people are just looking for every inch they can to try to criticize the kid, and I'm gonna be honest, it pisses me off. Like I'm just like, are you guys kidding me? Like you guys are sitting here, already calling him a bust and expecting him just to go in there and carry us, into the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. It's like, there hasn't been not one rookie who's taken his team to the Super Bowl. So I don't understand why people are expecting Trey to.
Right. It's
Yeah.
still just it's weird to me that people are rooting against the guy that's the quarterback of their team, like
Hmm.
that's like weird behavior to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm wishing the rookie quarterback of my team to fail. Like that just doesn't make
The
sense.
one who's gonna be here for at least the next 4 years.
Yeah.
At the minimum. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
So we're gonna have this week a rookie against rookie quarterbacks, right?
Hmm.
Um, the pressers today, I heard Jimmy Ward, he touched on Trey Lance and, on the what's his name, the Texans quarterback.
Davis Mills.
Yeah, he touched on him, saying that he has a quick release and all this, but who knows what they really think of the guy. But he
Yeah.
has been playing better lately, like they just
Hmm.
beat the Chargers last week. And he's started quite a few games this season now.
He
So
has.
he's
Yeah.
actually, been able to take his lumps and bruises. And, I'd probably say that he's, right now, lined up as like the second or third, best rookie quarterback so far in this draft.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this week should definitely be interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard, I just think, the whole timeline of things, like we start hearing everybody come out saying that Trey Lance is, tearing up the defense, and that this last month or 4 to 5 weeks, he's really started doing better, and, you know, all these different things. And then now all of a sudden Jimmy's hurt, Trey's starting. Like, John Lynch is liking tweets to leave Jimmy in Tennessee,
Yeah.
like just a weird timeline of things
Yeah.
here.
It's been real crazy. It's just kind of head scratching. Like, I feel like they're playing the fans too. Just like, okay, we're gonna do this and that, and just keep the fans guessing and stuff. It's hilarious. Happy New Year to you
Um,
too, Sam.
what did you think about that tweet with John Lynch and him putting out that apology? And then it comes out in Jimmy's presser this week. He said that John, actually called him and talked to him about it as well. What did you think about all that?
Well, I'm not gonna say that people don't accidentally like tweets on accident because I do it all the time. There's sometimes where like I'm getting ready to like a tweet, and all of a sudden the Twitter page will refresh, and then it'll go to somebody. I'm like, what the heck did I just do? And I'll get it off. But this looks very sketchy. Like I don't believe him, to be honest. I think he did it. He probably didn't think anybody was gonna pay attention to it, because he's hardly ever on Twitter. So, but and I think just as an older guy, he probably just thinks like, oh, ain't nobody gonna catch it and this and that. He meant that. Of course he's gonna go on there and apologize, and Jimmy G's PR guys are probably telling him to say good things and stuff like that. It's all for a show, but yeah, I do think he meant it. I feel like he was just as irritated as Kyle was, that you can see as Kyle was on the sidelines. Like he was throwing like a little tantrum when he threw that when he couldn't convert that 4th and 6 to Ayuk. Like he was pissed.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of I think it's just frustration. It's like, and I'm sure it's just one of those things where like I bet you Kyle, and he's not dumb. He sees his quarterback up close and personal, and it's one of those games where he knows like, man, Jimmy's played like 3 good games. There's gonna be a bad one coming, and sure enough, here it is, against the Titans. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's still funny to me that we see, Kyle's reactions on the sidelines and, like it would appear to us as fans, in our eye that, Kyle doesn't like Jimmy too much, but
Mm-hmm.
yet we still have Kyle there, choosing to play Jimmy week in and week out at this point over the
Mm-hmm.
guy that you moved up in the draft that was supposed to be the guy that you picked out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then still this week, it's like he don't want to commit to Trey still. And I've heard a couple people bring it up now on their shows, Croc, one of them, and the Ham podcast about, does Kyle not trust Trey? And not saying that he don't trust that Trey's going to go out there and play well or whatever, but more of the fact that he knows what he's going to get from Jimmy. He knows that he has a really good chance to put Jimmy out there and win a game,
Mm-hmm.
and where with Trey it's still unknown. He can think Trey's the greatest he's ever seen, or not that good, either way, but he's
Yeah.
never seen him go out there and do it and can say, oh, this guy I'm going to win with. And
Sure.
that that with the way that Kyle is, he wants everything to be perfect and he wants to know that he's going to win. And it's just easier for him to know, okay, well, I know I can win because Jimmy's done it. So it's,
Mm-hmm.
easier to put him out there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, you know what I really think it is? I just think that we're so close to getting a playoff berth that Kyle just doesn't want to do anything. Like, I just think he just is like, man, like, I want to commit, but I really don't think it's a great idea. Because, I mean, just think about it too. It's like I think he's protecting his quarterback because and there's been chatter all week that, oh, if Kyle puts in a 75% healthy Jimmy, that means he didn't really want Trey. And I don't buy that. I just don't buy that. This is the first time in Kyle's career where he's actually got to pick his quarterback. So I still don't believe the Mac Jones hype and all that stuff. Like it doesn't make sense to me. So everybody, I've been hearing that all week. I don't think maybe he didn't want Trey. Maybe he didn't want Trey. Why don't he put him in if his quarterback's hurt? I don't believe that. I think one, like I said, they're so close to a playoff berth. You can't make a change right now unless you have to, like we're doing this week. Like, you know what I mean? So I get Kyle in that aspect. And two, what if he were to like, okay, what if Jimmy was healthy? Okay. And then you put in Trey, he stinks up the joint the next two games, and we're out of the playoffs. That kid's gonna get so much hate. See, you should have just left Jimmy in. Trey's not ready. He sucks. He's a bust. We could have made the playoffs if you kept Jimmy. It's just so much chatter that can go on, and I think Trey really cares about. Kyle really cares about Trey. He just really trying to, protect his young quarterback because that's the last thing you want is for your quarterback to go in there. Your rookie quarterback, the one that you've been grooming all year, to go in and then he, be the reason because he'll be the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Even if he plays well, he'll be the scapegoat. Well, if it was Jimmy, he would have won because he wins games and blah blah blah. This other foolishness that we hear. So I get Kyle in that aspect. Like I don't like if I was Kyle, I don't think I'd put Trey in either, honestly, unless I had to, like for an injury. But if Jimmy's healthy, I'm putting Jimmy in, so it's ride or die with him, and then let the kid take over. And I think this is too late. Like if we were back, because I was advocating for Trey for sure. Like I wanted him all year, but after that Colts game, I was like, Trey needs to play. I don't care. Like just put the kid in. Like our
Yeah.
record was terrible, but at this time of the season with 2 games left, I understand Kyle's point.
Yeah. I mean, it's it was tough for him in his first game to start going against, one of the top teams in the NFL at the time on the
Mm-hmm.
road, against that defense. But, even though this week it's against a lesser opponent,
Mm-hmm.
this is like, a more important game to us. We need to win this.
Sure.
And so there's a lot on, on his shoulders this week. And I don't know. I'm nervous, for him to be thrown out there into that, but
Sure.
at the same time, I'd much rather, of course, see a healthy Trey Lance than a 50 to 70%, 75%, whatever percent
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Correct.
Um,
Absolutely.
like we saw the way Jimmy played last week, on Thursday, even before the thumb injury, and then after the injury, he surely didn't play any better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are we trusting to send Jimmy out there and him play like that? or we're going to
Yeah.
trust the rookie, and I think it's just time. It's like a perfect storm happens and we have the opportunity to put him out there. Like I said, I don't think we see Jimmy again because, that it's pointless to put Trey in this week and then pull him,
Yeah.
for next week, regardless how he plays. Jimmy's not
Correct.
going to be here. Why do we need to throw him in for a
Yeah.
last game of the season at that point?
Yeah, well, what's crazy is I even heard some other stuff. Like I heard that, like you get Trey in, he plays, and let's just say even if Trey goes out and he wins, he helps us win these next two games. What's up, Peachy? Even though we heard that they said to even pull him and put in Jimmy for the playoff run. I'm just like, no, you can't be doing that. Like, just let the man play, let Trey play, and he takes us to the playoffs. But don't get me wrong, don't be surprised if you see something being pulled like that, because I think, the locker room will probably start crying, and well, now that we're in the playoffs, we have a playoff berth. We're going into Dallas. I'm just putting a name out there, going into Dallas. I think Jimmy's our best chance to win now that he's healthy. So don't be surprised, fans, fam, if Trey goes out, even if he wins these next two games and we hit the playoffs, that Jimmy starts a playoff game. I would not be surprised to see that happen. I'm sorry.
And we've been talking all season long about whenever it was that they put Trey in, that we didn't want to see like a situation that happened in Miami last season, right?
Oh, with Tua, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the last thing I want to see is that, Trey plays for this week or this week and next week, and then he gets pulled. I think that either way, that's like a confidence killer. The team's now already playing with him for 1-2 games, whatever it is. Just let him, stay in, stay going.
Yeah. I think if we clinch this Sunday, because I think all we have to do is win, and we have the Saints lose. If I can remember correctly, I think even if they lose and we win, I think we at least clinch a playoff spot, whether it's sixth or seventh. So if we clinch a playoff spot this week, I think that we probably would see him against the Rams too, just to get him some reps. But like I said, I don't know. Just looking at the locker room and how things have gone, like I think this is one of the worst. I think the way they handled the quarterback situation this year has been horrendous. I mean, it's gotten the fan base, wanting to fight each other, and it's just been ugly. Like, it's just, people asking for each other's addresses, and it's just being ridiculous. But, I mean, the way they handle the quarterback situation has just been ugly. But I don't know. I agree with you, Miriah. I think no matter what happens, you even take Trey into the playoffs. But I just have a strong gut feeling that even if we make the playoffs, if we go into whatever playoff game we play that wild card weekend, it's going to be Jimmy if he's healthy. That's just my opinion.
I sure hope not. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on with the Falcons and Titans game?
No, I mean the Falcons game, it is what it is. Like, since people think I'm such a hater, I'm gonna say it again. Jimmy played well that game. He played an efficient game. I'm gonna give him his respect. This Titans game, obviously, is a different story. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so even before the injury, let's just say he still threw that pick in the end zone when the guy was right in front of Kittle, which didn't make sense, and then he also missed on that Kyle Juszczyk throw, which was just whatever. But so
That
yeah,
juice throw, man.
that was probably his worst throw of the game, to be honest. Because I mean, I've seen high school quarterbacks hit that throw. You know what I mean? So that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much in it. I mean, I think because the game was Thursday and not Sunday, everybody's been talking about it so much. But I'm gonna tell the fans who are out there who are delusional, stop blaming the defense on the loss to that Titans game. Whoever thinks that it was a defense's fault need to wake up. We sat there, we sat there, and we scored. It was 10-0 in the first half. We didn't score until less than 3 minutes left in the second half. So we went all of the third quarter and almost 80% of the fourth quarter without scoring any points. And they wonder why the defense is letting up. Our defense, if people notice, our defense plays well when the offense executes. Point blank, period. Offense wasn't executing, and that's when the defense were getting. It was so many 3-and-outs, 3-and-outs, 3-and-outs. I mean, whatever the case may be, but it's just one of those things where it's like you can't expect the defense to go out there and carry you every team. I mean, and I'm gonna just say this to end it. People want to sit there and say, "Oh, why you guys always on Jimmy? Why you guys always on Jimmy? He gets us wins. His winning percentage is X, Y, and Z. This guy has more turnovers than he does starts. So that's one beef. My second beef is when your highest paid player is your biggest liability, that's an issue, especially when it's the quarterback. So that's all I'm going to say about that Titans game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, Somebody I didn't want to bring up about that game, of course, Debo, he had a monster game as usual. But I wanted to touch on Ambry and get your opinions on how we've seen him progress over these last couple weeks, and the feat that he's had going against Brown and
Chase.
Pitts and Chase and all these receivers that he's had to line up against these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I would love to touch on Ambry Thomas. For one, I know my girl Peach is in here, so I'm not being a homer Peachy because he's a Wolverine. But me and Jamal have talked about this. You're asking a young man who didn't play all of 2020, okay, because of COVID. He goes into 2021. He's struggling in the beginning of the season. He's only really playing because of the injuries. But then, he doesn't get any significant snaps until what, week 12, week 13, whatever it was. I don't know what week we're on right now. Week 16, 17 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Week 16?
16.
We're on week 16. So he didn't get any significant snaps until week 12. So you ask a young corner, rookie corner, to come in 3 consecutive weeks and go Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, and A.J. Brown. And every week he's improved. I think, obviously his worst game, here's the best thing to say. His worst game that he had was his first.
Yep.
So it's not like his worst game was his third game. His worst game was his first. So you're seeing improvement every week. So you ask him to come in, like I said, to guard these 3 receivers in 3 consecutive weeks, 3 dogs at that. You know what I mean? And this week's not going to be easier because he has Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
He has a speedster. You know what I mean? Like a good young vet. So this is what I will say about Ambry Thomas. Ambry Thomas, he was targeted 5 times. He only allowed 2 catches. He had 2 pass breakups, and 1 was incomplete. And he gave up 46 yards. And the 46 yards he gave up, one of them was a 42-yard catch. So I find it comical that these 49er fans sit there and they want to say, oh, he needs to step up. They dogging him, but yet don't hold Josh Norman accountable. If anybody needs to step up, it's Josh Norman. He does have the playoff pedigree. He's the veteran. He should be the one that you don't have to worry about. But he's the one I worry about him more than I do Thomas.
Yeah.
So everybody who doesn't say, who can't sit there and look, and I understand, like, people always look at stats. The eye test is the best observation. If you can look in, week out, and you see that the young man's getting better, his hand placement, he's with the receiver every single time. So it's just, it's all about technique. As long as he learns how to, and that's going to come with time. It's going to come with reps, and he's gotten better. Like, he had the 2 hands to the face penalties against Jamar Chase. He hadn't had one since. So he's getting better. So yeah, if anything, I'm liking what I see. And then 2, if we get in the playoffs, let's just say if Emmanuel Mosley has like another injury or Josh Norman gets injured, we can have Ambry Thomas step in, not worried because he's actually had some snaps in the regular season and he's not coming in with cold feet. So that's my opinion on Ambry Thomas.
Yeah. And although he's going against, another a great wide receiver this week, our pass rush is also going against a rookie quarterback, so as long as they're able to get home a lot better than hopefully they did the last couple weeks against him, that makes it easier for Thomas in the back end as well. He doesn't have to be covering him forever back there. But yeah, I think that we've seen him improve each week, and what more can we ask for of a rookie corner that didn't play last season? It's like, I think he's doing great.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted to touch on something up here that Sin said. Did Jimmy G get benched? Is that the reason for the events this week? That's not what obviously they've come out and say, but I do find it funny that every time Jimmy seems to come out and play horrible, he's hurt. It's like there was no mention, now, like, everybody wants to act like they're some surveillance investigators tearing apart the video from last week about, oh, Jimmy's using his hand, or Jimmy, was you could see him favoring his thumb
Yeah.
afterwards and all
He
this and all
opened up
that,
a
but
water bottle. He should be good. And
yeah,
yeah,
but
all this
nothing
stuff.
was
Yeah.
said about the injury regardless, right?
Mhm.
So, like everything just that's what I said, that the timeline of events is just kind of weird how it all seems to happen, but I mean, we can put our foil hats on and say all kinds of different things. We probably will never find out what's really going on. I
No.
do don't I mean, I don't know. I think Jimmy's hurt, but the extent of that injury, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty hit the nail on the head. I'm not gonna sit here and speculate because I don't know, but did he get benched? I don't think so because of the stuff I mentioned earlier in regards to the being so close to being in the playoff hunt. Because I don't think they would sit there and just say that it's fake with 2 games left and we haven't clinched. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, I don't know. But it's just I can think the timing is just crazy. Like we don't find out until 5 days later after the game. That just it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And then, Kyle comes out and says it's one thing, and then like immediately after, like, Ian Rappaport's releasing that, it's this significantly, more like to the injury than what Kyle's saying.
Mhm.
And like and Jimmy like wasn't even at the building that day for practice. So it's like, did Jimmy just go out and get his own testing, and it was his camp that reported to
Mhm.
Rappaport, or like things are just really weird, it
Yeah,
seems.
and the thing I want to touch on too is like, how good does this look for Jimmy? Like, if you know this is your last hoorah or whatever with the 49ers and people known for you to be injury prone, this is not a good look. Like, why would you and your agent be like, hey, we're going to make this injury a little bit more than what it seems because I don't want you going out and playing these next 2 games and you playing like you did against Tennessee. It's going to drop your stock, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, him not playing is a bad luck too, because then people are just going to be like, yep, I guess he is always injury prone. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say, but I really do hope that whatever him and his agent are doing is the right decision for his career going forward. Because to me, if I'm a team, it looks suspicious. I mean, I guess it can be one of those. Oh, he's a gamer. He's tough. He hurt his thumb and he finished the game out. It could be one of who knows. You know what I'm saying? But it's just funny to me. And to touch up on what Jamal was saying, I agree, Jamal. Because if you look at these last 3 games, Ambry Thomas should have had at least 2 interceptions, but he dropped one, and then I think Kyle Pitts kind of took it out of his hands on the sideline. So, you know, the interceptions will come for sure.
Yeah, what you were saying about, like how it looks for Jimmy, whatever. It's kind of funny because in his presser this week, when they're talking to him about the injury, the whole time it just seems like he was like saying stuff that he normally doesn't say. Like, I'm going to go out there and fight if I can for my team because that's what matters is winning. And, I'm going to do all I can for my team and blah, blah. Like he was just this tough guy team player and he's going to lay his body on the line to get out there with his guys. And it's like, are you just like, is this your interview for your next team? Like
Mhm.
the presser was just really weird because it's things we don't normally hear him say. Normally
Absolutely.
when he talks about my team, it's he's placing blame on them.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's just funny how, like you said, how he came out this press conference and seemed like such a team guy, and it's just comedy to me because of course these I call them the Jimmy advocates. I don't like saying the Jimmy sexuals or whatever, but I feel like the Jimmy advocates look at that one press conference. Oh, look, he's a leader. Well, have you seen the ones he did all year?
Yeah.
He didn't take accountability at all, but this one press conference shows you that he's a leader. Miss me with that. Like, come on now.
Well,
It's
just like at the
ridiculous.
beginning, he's such a team guy because he was the first one to call Trey, but yet we haven't seen him talk to Trey since, It's like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
doesn't talk to him on the sidelines. He doesn't nothing.
Exactly.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. So yeah, hopefully, we don't have to worry about him much longer. So what are you expecting this week then with the Texans? How are you expecting, us to our defense to stack up against their offense and vice versa? And, what are you expecting to see out of Trey out there?
Um, I think we're gonna win, and I think we're gonna win by double digits. I think Trey is hungry. I think Trey wants something to prove. I mean, and I'm not sitting here trying to bag on Jimmy, but I'm just gonna tell you the difference I see when they're on the sidelines. When I see Trey on the sidelines, he's standing up. He's in his playbook. He's looking at his wristband. He's eyeing the game the whole time. I never seen him not engaged with what's going on.
Yeah.
With Jimmy, when I see him on the sideline when the defense is on, he's sitting down, he's talking, he's not in his playbook, he's not trying to figure out what's going. I don't know. Like I feel like that the work ethic of Trey's is totally different than what Jimmy's is. I know that Trey's a gamer. I know that he's been frustrated, but he's been patient. He's such a good kid that he's not going to speak up and say anything. I think he's hungry. I think he wants to go out there and prove that he's the best rookie quarterback out of this class, and this is the perfect game to show it because now, his finger is not hurt anymore. Because they said it lingered into the Arizona game. His is not hurt. He's been practice. What did he start week 6? I think it was week 6 when he started.
Yeah.
So now it's week 16. So he's been sitting for 10 weeks. So with the healthy Trey, I mean, if they put in a good game plan, same ones they've been giving to Jimmy, because I still want them to run the football. I still want them to run. Elijah Mitchell practice today, so he should be back. So I'd like to see, about 30 to 35 carries. Maybe give like 20 to Mitchell, maybe 10 to Wilson, another 5 to Hasty just to keep them fresh. But I see Trey not blowing the doors off. I see something like I think he's going to throw an interception though. I just have a feeling he is. I think he's going to throw a pick. I say something like 225 yards passing, about 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, another 50 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown. So I mean, good numbers, not great, but I feel like for his second start, I think that those would be good numbers for him. And plus 2, I don't see him throwing that many times, maybe 25 times, but I do think he gets one bomb to Ayuk. I just have a feeling. I feel like everybody has eaten so far, like all our 3 main weapons, except for Ayuk. I think his game is due because so I feel like that's what's going to happen. So yeah, I feel like a good game from Trey, but I really think that we're going to control the clock. And I'll say it again: we've played 15 games, 2 games. There was only 2 games this whole season where we had 3 and out one time, and Trey was one of them. Against Arizona, he had 1 3 and out as a rookie. Very impressive. That's the most impressive stat that I can say for anybody who's starting their first game as a quarterback, that you had 1 3 and out against an undefeated Arizona team at the time who was considered the best defense in the NFL. So yeah, and I think we're gonna blow the doors off the Texans. I think we win by at the minimum 10 points.
Yeah. Trey Sermon's supposed to be back this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the running game should definitely do well against one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. So I think, yeah, it's going to be, I'm excited to see. Hopefully we see a better game plan than what we saw in Arizona.
Yeah.
And, from the reports, of practice and everything, it does seem like Kyle has a better game plan.
Yeah, and plus 2, think about it too. Like he had no Kittle either in that game. He had no Kittle, so that's going to be his security blanket, I think. So yeah, I like what's going on. I think the spread was like 12.5. I don't know if we cover it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did.
Yeah. I have us covering it. Do you want to go ahead and give your prediction now?
Yeah, I'll give my score prediction. I predict 49ers 27, Texas 14. Don't tell
I
me you
have
got the
us
same exact game.
27-13.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that's funny.
it is funny.
Um, and I hope you're right, John, because from everything that we've seen up until this point, it seems like Trey, right, is the smart guy, the one that's going to do everything to get better, that's going to put in the extra work to, and now he's sat there and watched, as all these other rookie quarterbacks have started or at least got to play, a significant amount of time. And he's the number 3 pick, and he's had to sit there behind a guy that he can clearly look at and see that guy's not as talented as him, right? Like some things you can just see. So I think he is going to be, hungry to get in there and, prove that, that they made the right pick and that they need to stick with him going forward.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Let's see. The Chargers have a run game. This last week, their number one running back was out with
Yeah,
COVID.
Eckler. Yeah, he didn't play.
Their backup running back, had a heck of a game though.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I'll put it like this, Sam. The backup running back who went in for Eckler scored his first rushing touchdown since 2018. So that just goes to show you that they're not that good in stopping the run.
But they still beat the crap out of the Chargers
Yeah,
somehow.
they
So
did. Yeah, that was a lot of. That was like I think Herbert threw like 2 picks. I think the same running back we're talking about had a fumble. Like it was just like a bunch of hiccups from the Chargers that kind of handed them the game. But it's just good that the Houston Texans actually went out there and executed when they got the turnovers.
yeah. The last time that we saw Trey play, it seemed like the offensive line had a problem with some holding calls.
Yes.
Do you think, I mean, still this offensive line hasn't got to spend much time with Trey, so do you think that that's going to be a problem that we see again this week, or do you think that that's something that they should have cleaned up by now?
I think the only reason why the offensive line struggled is because of the type of game plan they had for Trey. That's a game plan that they're not used to. You know what I mean? Like they're used to Jimmy being under center and this and that. And I think the way the game was called, they just weren't used to it because Trey was in shotgun a lot. Like, we said this before, the way the game was called was not to Trey's strengths, and it didn't look like it was towards the offensive line strengths either. So I think the way that they called the game had something to do with it. But I think if they call a similar game plan where Trey's under center, he's handing the ball off under center, doing RPO stuff like that, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about seeing, Jamal. It's Norman versus Cooks.
Oh, if it's Norman versus Cook, then Norman will be cooked all game because he has no speed. If anything, you put Ambry Thomas on Cooks just because at least he can keep up with them, in a foot race. Because Josh Norman will get destroyed playing that guy.
Yeah, and I don't know how worried I am about their quarterback really being able to take advantage of that. In the recent weeks or, the past weeks, we have, talked about that, like, oh, this quarterback can really, if they do what they should be able to take advantage of, these corners. And then we see it that it doesn't happen, so it's like we've faced a lot better quarterbacks that haven't been able to take advantage of those two corners back there.
Sure.
For the most part, they've, been holding their own. So I'm not too worried about that this week.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, if Bosa can, wreak havoc on this poor quarterback. But I don't know, because the last couple, it seems like every time we think that Bosa should have a good game too, he doesn't seem to have one.
Mm-hmm.
When we're like, oh, he should be able to take advantage. This is their fifth string offensive line he's going against, and then he doesn't do much, So
And the Titans was a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like that whole left side was horrendous. It was all backups and no pass rush. So
yeah, it's crazy. Although, I mean, of course, Bosa's been having a hell of a season.
Oh, for sure.
Can't take nothing off of him. He needs some help on the other side. Would be great. If we could get like another Bosa on the other end, that would be amazing. Well, I mean, do we see that with the other, the other teams that have mobile quarterbacks, that their O lines are getting penalized a lot?
I don't see that much. Like I don't. No, I don't. I mean, I think. Honestly, John V. I think the only reason why we had trouble is because I feel like Trey was kind of given trying to scramble around the pocket a little bit to give him some extra time to find an open receiver, and then he'd take off running. I think that's why I think what it comes down to it is Jimmy, and this is one thing I will say about Jimmy: when he sees an open receiver, he gets rid of the ball pretty quick. So I think if Trey can execute that, and like I said, it all feels like it comes to game plan because like Trey ran so much, And when he was in the pocket, like I felt like he was like kind of scrambling around to see what was going on. So I can see your point though, John V, but I don't think that that's the case because I see it with other teams like Lamar Jackson and all them. I don't see their offensive line having any issues. I think it's just because they're so used to what they see behind center with Jimmy. And then if you look at the way our quarterbacks have been since Kyle has been there, we haven't had any mobile quarterbacks. Brian Hoyer, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, Jimmy, they're all pocket passers, I guess you can say, who don't really scramble too well. So I think that's probably what the issue is. But now that we have Trey, I mean, it's something they're going to have to work on. So,
Yeah.
Tanya,
And I
yeah.
agree. Yeah. I think once, and that the O line's been actually, they're practicing with Trey all week. Nobody else is getting those reps except for Trey, so they better get their shit together. Don't be going out there making our guy look bad.
And two, going into this game, I don't want to see no drop balls. Like we have the cream of the crop. Right now we have our best receivers. You know what I mean? Like, he was throwing to Travis Benjamin and Juwan Jennings, not even John Jennings, Mohamed Sanu at the
Yep.
time. So now that he's having Debo, Ayuk, and Jennings, and then also with Kittle being on the team too, because he didn't play when he played, I think that's going to open things up more.
Yeah, and every week before, the games, obviously when Trey's not starting, he's always out there throwing to Ayuk.
Yeah.
Always with Ayuk. So I'm expecting that their connection has, really developed and we're gonna see, like you said, a big play to Ayuk.
Hmm.
That's what I'm hoping, obviously. That's what I've
Yep.
been waiting for all
I know that's
freaking
your
season
boy.
long.
So I just
Like,
think he's due. Like he's been he's been getting better every week too, and I think he's just due because you seen, like I said, you see Kittle. I mean, what was it against what team was the Falcons game when he just was destroying people? I mean, he had two back-to-back games. I think the
yeah,
Falcons game and the game before that, who was it? Or the Bengals game,
Bengals.
he destroyed. And then you got Debo, who's obviously been killing all year. But I feel like Ayuk is too talented to not have a big game, and I think it comes Sunday because I feel like he's probably our best deep threat because I mean, other than Travis Benjamin, because Travis Benjamin's our fastest receiver, but other than Travis Benjamin, I think Ayuk's our fastest receiver. So I think you get him on a deep route on a streak or like a crosser or something. I think he has big playability. So
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know if Benjamin still is. He's old and
yeah, he might
busted
not
up
be,
now.
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows though? I mean, that guy, I don't know. Who knows? He's still pretty fast though. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree, Sin.
yeah,
And I'm really hoping that it'll be better this time. I still like every
yeah.
time I think about the game plan against Arizona, like I just remember like seeing them keep putting Trey Lance's parents on there, and his mom like looking like she was about to freaking lose it. Like seeing her boy get smashed up to pieces
Oh,
out
for
there.
sure. Like she wanted to go down there and kill Kyle.
And especially after, since he really did get hurt in that game,
Yeah.
after all, it's like just
Well,
makes
then
it that
too,
much
like, and
worse.
it's funny too, because men are so funny. Because I'd be the same way. Like the way his dad was looking, you can tell he wasn't happy, but he just kind of low key, just kind of quiet and stuff. But he knows his son. He knows that game plan was atrocious. He's probably sitting there in the stands like, that's not my son's strengths. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
it was horrendous.
Poor woman was covering her eyes. I know it went from
Oh
like,
man.
like a little gradually like, oh boy, what's this going to be? And then as the game like went on, it was just like both of them, even by the end of the game, the dad, still looked the same as the mom too. I was like,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I don't know if you want to touch on anything else.
No, is there any questions there in the chat? I mean, I don't know if anybody has any questions for us. Oh, but I want to reiterate that, I had talked about this weeks ago. I think we had like a losing record at the time, and I told everybody who's a subscriber, if we get a playoff berth, I'm gonna get a list of all our subscribers, and I'm gonna once I pick who it is, whoever wins, I'm gonna DM you. Well, I'll let everybody know on Twitter, what's going on. Then I can DM you and let you know, and I'll let you pick a hat and a T-shirt off of Fanatics. You just let me know, which one you want, your size, and everything, and then just DM me your address and I'll send it to you because I'm a man of my word, and I did say if we made the playoffs that I would do that for one of our subscribers. So because I didn't think we had a chance. So
Was it that we made the playoffs or Jimmy led us to the playoffs?
No, that if we
Have
if
we made
we
the
if we
playoffs?
got if we made the playoffs regardless, yeah, because we were like I think it was after the Colts game, we were like 3-5, and I was like, I don't think this is a playoff roster. And then John York came from Ohio and talked to them, and then they've been better ever since. But I don't know what's going on. But yeah,
John
so
York came and laid the smackdown.
yep, he was just like, what's going on here? Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited, fam. Like I'm just I just hope that everybody is. I'm just glad too. I feel like we're getting healthy at the right time. And I'm glad that Kyle, instead of having the reporters come in and do face to face interviews, he did a Zoom call because
Yeah.
we've been blessed with the whole COVID situation. And I pray that it stays that way. Like, I don't want no heartbreaking news like, oh, George Kittle and Samuel, COVID protocol. That would be horrendous. So
Speaking of
go
that,
ahead.
Wish is on out with COVID and on the
Mhm.
COVID protocol. So, I do, hope everything's good with him because he has a newborn baby, that
Yeah, for
just
sure.
recent and we still might, they said that there still is a chance that he's back, for this game in time, but regardless, I just, hope everything's good with him and
Yeah,
his
absolutely,
family.
absolutely. So, yeah, shout out to Wish. Even though his last few games been pretty bad, because I was advocating for him to
Ooh,
go to the Pro Bowl in the beginning of the year. Like he was killing it. He even won Special Teams Player of the Month at one time. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that everything is starting to come into form. Just coming through the show, the why. So, hey, what's up, brother? Talk to you on Spaces sometimes. I think it's your first time on the show, so if it is your first time, we appreciate that, man.
yep, thank you
Go
for
ahead and spread the
coming by.
word for us. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, special teams. Let's talk about that for a
yeah,
minute. Because
yeah,
we showed them some love at the beginning of the season because, they were the only ones doing well for a while there. And
mhm,
man, they have been horrible
yeah.
recently.
You know what's funny? I was talking on Spaces the other day, and somebody brought up Tarvarius Moore, and I totally forgot about the guy. Like I totally forgot about the guy. I mean, honestly, I think he's a pretty good player, but you notice like when he was healthy, he was our special teams gunner. Like he was,
Yeah.
him with that speed, running that 4.32 40. He was usually the first one down the field making the tackle. So I feel like a lot of, I mean, I know it's just one guy, but when it's your best guy on special teams, who's always the first one down the field, you know, it does show. And so I feel like him being gone. I feel like him being gone is an issue where we're just like, man, like, it's hurting him not being there. But yeah, I think, and it's funny too. I was looking at the press conference. Hightower does not look comfortable.
No.
Like I feel like he knows, like, man, like this could be my last thing. I mean, I don't want the man fired. I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong. If we can upgrade, we can upgrade. But if he can get it together these next two games, and then if when we make it to the playoffs, if we have good special teams playing the playoffs, then I feel like he's earned to be kept. But I do agree. But I mean, so let me ask you this, because I know it is on coaching. Like I feel like we take some bad angles on special teams and stuff like that. But they need to get whoever the special teams coach is going to be a good kick punt returner. Like that
Yeah.
has been an issue for the 49ers since Ted Ginn. Like, can we get somebody special back there, please? It's
Yeah.
called special teams. We have nobody special back there. Like I'm tired of Brandon Ayuk returning punts, Jermichael Hasty, Trenton Cannon. Like I'm sorry, they're good guys. I'm sure they're cool off the field and stuff, but we need us a game changer. And to Kyle's credit, I think he thought he had that in Dante Pettis,
Yeah.
because Dante Pettis, he still holds the record for 9 return punts for touchdown, but it just couldn't translate to the NFL. But we need to get us a dynamic special teamer back there, somebody who can go out there. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we had talked this before. Sometimes somebody like a Cordero Patterson can come here and be like our fourth receiver slash running back, and hold down the special teams. But yes, but I'll give Hightower a pass on that aspect.
Yeah.
But as far as like the tackling and stuff like that stuff, it needs to be cleaned up bad. We need to clean that up. Like we're taking bad angles. We're letting them get like 30 to 40 yards a clip on kickoff returns. Like we just can't have that.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna blame it all on Hightower, of course, because the as much as the our defense is hurt in the back end and all those players, they play special teams as well.
Sure.
So every time a player gets hurt, well, that's one less player that's on special teams and
Hmm.
one more scrub that's coming off the couch that's
Sure.
now going to special teams. So it's like Hightower gets the bottom of the barrel guys, scrubs that are left over, because everybody else that plays special teams is hurt.
Yeah,
So, like, and I mean, we can't blame Hightower that, Wish is only kicking the ball 30 yards. I mean, I don't
exactly.
think that that's something Hightower can fix, like, how does he fix that? I mean,
Yeah,
other than getting a new, somebody new to kick the ball, but
yeah. I mean, I think Wish is, I think he's fine. I think, I'm more irritated, even though he's been playing well the last couple weeks. I'm more irritated with the kick with the field goal kicking more than I am the punt returning. Because, it gets into a game where we have to kick a 50-yard field goal on the road. I'm not sure I'm okay with Robbie Gould taking care of that. I mean, unless we're playing like at Dallas where they're in a dome. But if we're playing in Green Bay, if we have to go to Green Bay and we have to make a 50, 55 yarder, I don't think it's happening unless the wind is favoring us. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Retain Mike Hughes. Yeah, I like Mike Hughes. Talking about the corner. Yeah, the cornerback. Yeah, I don't know. I think he'd be cheap for sure. I think I like your other guy better that you've always talked about in space is that Dante Jackson. I mean, I feel like he'd be a beast for us. Have two speedy corners. Going into next season as somebody who will be cheaper because I don't even though like Kyle Fuller a little bit better because he's a veteran, but at the same time I want this team to get a little younger. I feel like we're always bringing in these old guys and stuff, but I think the key to everything, to be honest, like I mean, obviously we're gonna get rid of Jimmy, but I think the key is too the wild card is what is going to happen with D Ford.
yeah.
Because if D Ford either retires or we can, somehow restructure his deal. I know he just restructured it a year ago, but I mean, we need to have a serious talk with him in the off season and say, hey, what are your plans here? Because and you need to keep it real. Like, dude, you're stealing money. Like, you're on the sidelines more than you're not. He's like, I like to call him the NFL version of Anthony Davis for the Lakers,
Yeah.
always in street clothes. You know what I'm saying? I know you don't want to hear that, Peachy. I know you're a Lakers fan, and so are you, I think, too, Jamal. But it's real talk. Like, he's always hurt, and he's making 18 million a year. So it's one of those things where it's like, dude, like we need you to take a serious pay cut if you want to stay here because we'd love to keep you. Or, are you going to retire because your back injury? And then Armstead, he's going from making 17 million. He's going 17 million, and next year he'll be making 20 million a year. He'll be the fifth highest paid defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fifth highest paid D tackle in football, 20 million. Like, can we put that into incentives or can we put that into a bonus instead so we can clear up some cap? Because they can easily say, hey, out of that 20 million, we're going to take 8 million of it and put it into roster bonuses to give them some room for cap space because they can do that as well because bonuses don't count towards your cap. So
Yeah. I'm just hoping that they figure something out before the start of the season because I don't want to see him standing up there at a presser freaking during preseason talking about how he wants to be a every down player again for the third year in a row, and then we see him for 5 minutes and then we don't see him again for the
you're
rest of
talking
the
about D
season.
Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Like
something has to give with that guy.
it's like get rid of him, whatever, before the start of the season. Stop letting
Mhm.
him take up space. Like,
Oh
if
man.
we had to just cut your losses and get rid of him.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't
like
want to see him on the damn
yeah,
roster
because
again.
it's getting ridiculous. So yeah, I agree with you, Mariah. But yeah, I think everybody's excited. I think everybody on here on our chat is pretty excited for Trey. I just
Rondo.
please give us Rondo because he's talking about being traded to the Cavaliers or something. But anyway, yeah, I just hope, man. I just the whole thing about it though. I just want everybody to give Trey Lance a fair shake. Like, me and Jamal been defending Ambry Thomas on spaces because he's not even getting a fair shake. Oh, he needs to step it up, and I don't care if he's a rookie. Like, what are you doing here? Like, we've
Yeah.
been crying for this dude to get reps. Now that he's getting reps, they're crying about, oh, he needs to be better. He's getting beaten. No, he's not getting beat. He's just not making the correct play. So, just hearing that about a third round corner who's getting reps. I just hate to see what's going to happen with Trey being the third overall pick. Like, it's going to get ugly.
Yep.
Me, I'm on Twitter and I'll talk trash to anybody. So I'll be here to defend my boy, because you're not going to be sitting there talking about Trey like that, because that boy needs his reps. And regardless, like, here's the thing. Somebody asked us last night on Twitter, like, if Trey starts the rest of the season, if we don't make the playoffs, am I going to be mad? No, I'm not. Of course, your ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl, but your initial goal is to go to the playoffs. But if Trey goes in there, and let's just say he loses, I'm not, I'm not trying to put no bad karma, but I'm just talking realistically. If he goes out there and he loses the 2 games, and then the Saints, which I don't think they're going to, because Ian Book looks terrible. But if the Saints go
Yeah.
out there and they win these next 2 games, and I think the Eagles have to win their next 2 games, and if they win their next 2 games and they win out, we can miss the playoffs still. You know what I mean? So if we go out there and we lose, I just hope, I'm not going to be mad if Trey goes out there and he stinks up the joint, because I'm expecting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's going to go out there and throw like 5 interceptions, but I'm just saying, like, he's going to miss some throws. He's going to be probably rattled at first. You know what I mean? He's played 6 quarters, and he hasn't played in 10 weeks.
Right.
So that's going to be one of those things where it's like, he might be rattled a little bit. He's going to make some mistakes. He's probably going to overthrow some receivers. Hopefully he's put a little bit more touch on his passes. But we'll see. Like I said, it's been 10 weeks. If Fred Warner is saying that he's dicing up the defense, and then you showed me that pressure day where Jimmy Ward said he put a couple passes in front of me where I couldn't get to. So that shows some progress, probably because the defense is not used to balls being thrown so hard.
Right.
Probably like, man, like, this kid has some zip on his throws. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, we all just need to be patient, fam. Everybody who's in here who's commenting, I feel like, knows the deal. Everybody in here is cool. Everybody understands football and understands that, with Trey being a rookie, we're going to have to give him patience. As a quarterback, you got to give a quarterback at least to his 3rd season before you can get a fair assessment of what he can do. You know what I mean? But it just sucks because there's so much division with the quarterback play. He's a bust. We made the wrong pick. He's not ready. Kyle doesn't trust him. Like, on and on and on and on. It's just ridiculous. And I get so frustrated because I'm just like, you guys do not understand football.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The Lakers for life. Like, you can't be mad. It should be expected. Now, don't get me wrong. He goes out there, and these next 2 games, if he starts, he throws like 8 touchdown passes and 1 interception. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is what I've been waiting for. But if it's 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, I'm not going to be surprised either. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, Jimmy goes out there and he's rattled and he misses receivers high and he overthrows receivers and he throws to the linebacker. So what's the damn difference,
Exactly. And you know what's
And
funny?
he's
I
not a
watched that.
rookie.
Exactly. 8-year vet. I watched Ian Book and the Saints the other night. Was it Thursday night football, or no, Monday night when they were playing? And oh my gosh, he's a rookie. He looked terrible, but it was his first start.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I even saw him escaping the pocket and throwing the ball away. Jimmy, for being an 8-year vet, has the worst pocket awareness I've ever seen for an 8-year quarterback. He doesn't sidestep defenders. He doesn't understand what goes on in the pocket. He doesn't throw the ball away. Like, he's horrendous in the pocket. I've never seen somebody so bad who's been in the NFL for that long. Throw
I
the
don't
ball away.
understand what the hell he's doing when he's in the pocket. It's like he's trying to learn like some freaking dance moves from another country or something, like he just looks freaking ridiculous. Like, he's just like everywhere. Like he's scared of his own shadow is going to get him, It's
Jimmy
just
in the
like,
pocket doing the
yeah.
cha-cha slide.
Yeah, it's like,
Slide to the
wow.
like he ain't doing. This dude don't know what the heck he's doing. Like, it's embarrassing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what's funny? Because, like, me and you are always in spaces. Like, even though we don't talk all the times, like, we listen. I find it comical that for the last, I want to say, 5 to 6 weeks, we've been having the opposing team coming into spaces. Like, we had a Falcons fan come up in there, Jacksonville fan, Titans fan. They've all said the same thing. Well, yeah, I think you guys will beat us if you run the ball, because if Jimmy throws the ball, I think we can get some turnovers. And this is coming from other teams. They even know how he plays. So for other teams to see what he sees is comedy. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, Jamal. He's still moving through the ball away. Exactly. And he's a rookie, and he looked horrendous. I'm like, man, this guy was just in there, like, he looked like deer in the headlights. So he's doing the river dance. Absolutely, JV. I'm like, what is he doing? Yeah, he's doing what Chad Johnson used to do when he scored a touchdown, little river dance. Like, he's terrible. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not a knock on what's going on. Is just that's what we call it like we say it, and it's just it's time for him to go. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, like it's time for him to go. I'm tired of the mediocrity, and I'm sure, like you said earlier, Trey sitting on the sidelines, he's observing everything. I'm sure he's looking at like, oh man, I see Ayuk open in the middle of the field. I see this. He's seeing the plays that Kyle's calling and that are not being executed. So he's
Sure.
gonna be like, oh, okay, I know that because Kyle's play calling is all about timing. He, he he's all about precision. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
is what I want. This is at 2.7 seconds, the ball should be heading towards Kittle. At this seconds, he should be headed towards Debo because he's going to be open. Like he knows who's going to be open on every play. So because he knows that, and Trey's sitting back looking, so as much as I hated it, and I was like, man, he needs his reps. Maybe it was a good thing that he's been sitting because he got a start under his belt. Now he's been sitting for 10 weeks and he's sitting there and he's looking at all these routes and these plays being designed. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, okay, now I see what I need to do. Now I see an open Jawan Jennings. Now I see Kyle Juszczyk. Whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
he's going to understand it because he's always looking at his wristband. There's not one time I don't see him looking at his wristband. Like
Right.
he's on it. He's on it. Yeah.
He's more focused in and dialed in during a game, I feel like, than Jimmy is.
Oh, for sure.
Like other quarterbacks, like I see them, like when they play, whatever, they get to the sideline and they're right into their thing. They're looking at their iPad, whatever the hell they use, and
Yeah.
they're looking at it or throwing them, destroying them, whatever. But like Jimmy, like just he could just goes right off and just standing there smiling, talking to his friend,
Talking to
quarterback
Kittle and yeah,
coach,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like,
Yep.
and yet Trey's the one that's there dialed into the game. It's
Like,
just like,
dude, stay focused. Like the time that you need to be focused the most is when you make a mistake.
yeah,
Crap, I threw it to this linebacker for the 80th time. Let me see what I can do to change that. Because if he was in his playbook and he was in there after he made a mistake, he wouldn't be throwing interceptions in the middle of the field so much. He'd be able to see these defenders.
right. And we talk about Tom Brady, that he's over there destroying iPads. Well,
Yeah,
at least he's showing that he gives a shit about what's going on.
exactly.
He's not over there laughing about it, smiling about it, fixing his hair and doing whatever, it's like,
Yeah. Thinking about the next porn star he gonna sleep with. You know what I'm saying? He ain't worried about that stuff. He's actually focused. And even somebody like a Baker Mayfield, you can say what you want. Yeah, he's been horrendous this year, but you look at him at the podium. He's like, this game is on me. I take responsibility. I need to play better. I can respect that.
yeah,
I don't expect you to go out there and have a lights out game every single week. But when you can sit there and take responsibility, at least it shows you care, and at least know, at least I know that you're trying. At least I know that okay, now that you've told us it's your fault. Now that you told us you need to be better, what are you gonna do to fix it? You
right.
know what I'm saying?
And
So
we saw
yeah,
that from Trey, his one game that he's played. He got up there and took responsibility for it.
I need to play
First thing,
better. Yeah.
yeah, first thing he said.
Yeah.
And yet we still don't get that from Jimmy.
No, well, like I said this before, like, I think you and I talked about this before the draft. We made bets that the 49ers were going to draft Trey Lance. Like, we both had a gut feeling and we were both correct on that. And we are like, man, so again, I felt like he was just the best option for this team. But, what sold me on Trey Lance, though, during that game is when he was fighting for yards when his helmet came off. That right there just showed heart. It showed like he cared, like he was trying to do whatever he had to do to win that game, and I can respect that. He could have went out there and threw two more interceptions. I would have been like, you know what? At least the kid tried. At least I know he's out there and he gives a crap because he's sitting out there fighting for yards. Even though how dangerous that was, him to be sitting
Yeah.
there trying to fight yards where they're holding onto his ankles and him trying to get a first down.
Yeah.
I can respect that from a 21-year-old rookie quarterback.
Yeah. And that's something, that we've said all along that, like that I can't stand about Jimmy is that it don't seem like he gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like you don't ever see him or anything about him, perfecting his craft or working on this or staying with the guys throwing after, practice or putting in
Mm-hmm.
time during the off season or, with this person, that person. And like we've seen that since Trey became a 49er.
Absolutely.
And it's like, and that's why, like you don't think we see that Ayuk is visibly frustrated with Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
on the field, right? So, and then we see that Trey's there working with Ayuk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that Ayuk's sharing something with Trey about his frustration with Jimmy? So not only is Trey there seeing how Jimmy is performing on the field,
Hmm.
but do you not think that he has a relationship, especially with Ayuk, because Ayuk doesn't have a relationship with Jimmy?
No, he doesn't.
Ayuk was a rookie last year, and Jimmy hardly played last year. They hardly
Hmm.
played together. And I think that was part of the problem in the beginning of this season because they didn't have that chemistry together.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what I think what it is for Brandon Ayuk, and this is just my opinion. I bet you he feels because you know what's funny. Every time you go back and you look at the film, he seems like he's the one that's always open. So I think what it comes down to it is he probably feels like he's a decoy at this point.
Yeah.
That he's just out there running routes and he's getting the safety away so he can open up the middle for Jimmy to throw the kid on Debo over the middle all game. So he probably feels like crap, like, man, I'm out here busting my tail. I'm running down the field 30, 40 yards, and I'm open, but yet I have this quarterback who don't even look my way.
Yep. And
You know
then
what I'm
he's
saying?
getting dogged out for not giving it 100% every play
That's
in
what
practice.
that's
It's
what I'm
like, well,
saying.
why? He has to
Yeah.
run 60 yards down the field each play for no reason, over and over and over, like,
Exactly. Yeah, he probably feels like a decoy. He's probably like, man, like, and I get it, like, it's part of his route running, but at the same time, you have a quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. He's getting that ball to IU. You know what I mean? Because he's seeing him because that's an easier touchdown.
yeah.
So yeah, I agree, Tony. He don't have the heart. He got his money, and that's it. And like I said before, it's like it's sad because everybody always sits there and, oh, you guys are Jimmy haters, this and that. Like I said, when your highest paid player on the team is your biggest liability, it deserves criticism, especially at the quarterback position. He's getting paid more than everybody, and yet we depend on him every game to just not turn the ball over. We're not even asking him to throw for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Go out there, execute 20 to 25 throws. Don't turn the ball over. That's all we're asking.
Yeah, we're paying him that much, and we can't even call him a game manager at this point because a game manager can go out there and manage the game without making mistakes, without turning the ball over, doing just enough to win the game. And Jimmy doesn't do that.
Hmm.
Alex Smith is the perfect example of a game manager.
Absolutely.
He would go out there, he would just do exactly what he had to do, hand the ball off, make the throws when he needed to, didn't turn the ball over, did what his coach asked of him. Perfect.
Yeah, and then here's the thing too. When you've had numerous defenses say, "I'm glad you stopped running the ball and you started throwing on us," that says something
Yeah.
because they wouldn't be saying that for Aaron Rodgers. They'd be like, "Run the ball." I don't want Aaron Rodgers throwing it.
Right.
Tom Brady, I want you to run the ball. Patrick Mahomes, I want you to run the ball. But the fact that they said, "Oh, I'm glad that," like in the Super Bowl, Tyrann Mathieu and what's the other defensive end's name that used to play for Seattle? Can't think of his name on top of my head. But anyway, they both came out and were like, we're glad that Kyle stopped running the ball. When they put the ball in Jimmy's hands, we knew we had a chance. Like, come on. Like
Yeah.
that just shows you right there that what everybody thinks of Jimmy. So, I said it before and I'll say it again to all the fans. If me, Mariah, Jamal, Peachy, Tanya, JV, Emil are all haters because we want better quarterback play, then call Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch haters too because they're the ones who are trying to get rid of him.
Yeah. They're the ones that went and traded their whole future and put their careers on the line to get rid of Jimmy.
So, JV, I'm going to say this without trying to sound disrespectful. I feel like Jimmy plays quarterback better when he doesn't have to think. The 2-minute drill, he's effective because I feel like there's minimal thinking in that because you're so much in a hurry up offense. Hurry up and throw to whoever's open. There's no really like, oh, let's execute this play. This play it's like let's go, 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 go. Let's go. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like he runs so often because he doesn't have to think much. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like in those 2 minutes we see 2017 Jimmy.
Hmm.
And other than that, we don't see that Jimmy anymore, you
Hmm.
know? And maybe it's because, you can't have, all that beauty that Jimmy has and brains too. So he's just not that smart.
Yeah. Somebody posted the other day and it was funny. If Jimmy G, if he looked like Andy Dalton, he wouldn't have been our quarterback a long time ago. His looks are like or having the fans support him more. And I truly believe that. I
Well, you
truly
seen what
believe
happened to Cam Newton, right? So He
I
got
truly,
kicked
yeah,
right off the team for a
yeah,
rookie, so
yep. I truly believe it comes down to it. It's just like there's so many people who support him because if you think about it too, you look about the quarterback play since we've lost Kaepernick. And even his last year, he wasn't even that good.
right.
Like, I felt like he was like a one-read quarterback at one point. But you look at that, you look at the Blaine Gabbers, the Brian Hoyers, CJ Beath. We've had such horrendous quarterback play, and I think that's why Jimmy gets so much of a pass because it looks so ugly without him that people think like, oh well, he win. That's where the sentence comes. Well, he wins, and the phrase he wins all the time. Well, yeah, it's because Kyle Shanahan does have a serviceable quarterback who can win games with, but just can't get you over that hump. And I'm sorry, when you give me 3 good games in a row and then you give me a bad one, so that means 25% of the season you're giving me bad quarterback play. And the other 75% is just efficient. Nothing is ever great.
When healthy.
Yep. Trade
And
offs.
that's the whole thing is that yeah, Jimmy, he for all that he's worth, I mean, he is a starting quarterback, right?
Sure.
And the other quarterbacks that everybody wants to compare him to and compare his win record to are backup quarterbacks. None of those
Hmm.
guys should have been a starting quarterback. None of those guys
No,
are starting quarterbacks. Like
exactly.
yet people, I mean, us, of course, we know about that. But Jimmy fans, they don't want to think about that.
No.
It's just, oh, Jimmy wins and Kyle loses with everybody else because
Yep.
Kyle's playing with losers.
Hmm.
What's going to happen? When you're
Exactly.
playing with losers, you're going to
Playing with
lose.
losers and backups. Yep.
Like, oh my god,
And me
these
and
people.
Jesse, I see Jesse on here. We talked about this before too. It's like everybody's so enamored with stats. Everybody's so enamored with the QBR and winning. Oh, he's in the last 8 weeks. He's the best quarterback, and like, sorry, the eye test is more important. The
Than
fact
what
that
the
I heard,
spreadsheet says.
the fact that I heard people on here saying that. Why are you dogging Jimmy? He's fast. He's faster to 10,000 yards than Joe Montana and Steve Young. I can't even argue with you. I can't even have a healthy debate with you now because you made that phrase of well he threw 10,000 yards faster than Joe Montana, Steve Young. Like you know what? Stop it. Like you know what? You need to just stop with the quarterback argument because that right there does not say anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some crazy things out there, especially this week. It's like I haven't even wanted to get on Twitter just because there's just so much freaking bullshit like
Yeah.
up and down the whole feed. And it's like I tried to not be following people that are saying such stupid shit. But it's like then, the people that I follow are fighting with the people that
Yeah.
are saying
Exactly.
stupid shit. So then I have to see it and still have to see the
Yeah.
stupid shit. It's like, oh
Yeah, no,
gosh.
I hear you on that. I agree with you, Joey. It's been horrendous quarterback play when when it hasn't been Jimmy. I mean, you like I said, from 2012 to 2017 or whenever Cap left. I don't know when he left. Was it? No, I think he left in 2013, right? No, when did Cap leave 49ers?
I
I
don't
think it was
know.
26. I think it was 2016, huh? I think it was 2016. I don't remember. But anyway,
I don't remember either.
ever since he hasn't been there, it's just been horrendous. When someone says that stuff, I showed them the door. Absolutely, Jesse. Like, stop.
Yeah,
The why? So
it's
yeah.
definitely. But I mean, yeah, I think hopefully after this will be our last episode that we have to talk about Jimmy. 2016, Jesse says.
To
Catholic.
2016. Okay, yeah, 2016. That's right. Because it was a year before. Yeah, because Kyle's the one who cut him, right? Or was it Kyle that cut him?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
because
yeah,
he didn't work out in our system, Kyle says.
yeah. I know I see some new faces in here, so I'm gonna repeat my giveaway. Um, I had said a few weeks ago that I didn't think the 49ers were a Super Bowl roster. I mean, sorry, a playoff roster when we lost to the Colts. And now it's looking like we're going to make the playoffs. So any of our subscribers, you have to be subscribed to our channel. Anybody subscribed to our channel, I'm going to put you in like a lottery, and I'm going to pick somebody, and I'll DM you, and I'll let you know. You can go into Fanatics and pick a hat and T-shirt of your choice, and then go ahead and DM it to me, and then I'll send it to you. So yeah, that'll be my gift from you, my gift to me to you, because we made the playoffs. So
I'm gonna put my name in there.
nah, you don't count. Sorry.
Put my daughter.
Yeah,
Have everybody sign up.
I know everybody's name, so disqualified.
Yeah, Jesse, I know Facebook is bad. Like I have a Facebook because that's like I had created a Twitter a long time ago, but I never used it. Like I never got into it until just recently. But I had a Facebook because that's how I connected with my family and everything. But like even prior to not even just toxic with football, like but prior to the election and all that stuff, like with the politics and all that,
Mhm.
Facebook became so bad that like I haven't deleted my Facebook, but I haven't been on there since just because it's just too toxic for me to freaking deal with those people.
Yeah, no, I hear you on
Like
that.
Facebook is crazy. People just be posting all kinds of shit.
Yeah. So I don't think I heard you say your predictions for Trey. Like, how good do you think he's gonna do? Like, what kind of stats you think he's gonna have?
Um, I'm expecting, close to the same, like you said. Over 200 yards throwing, a couple touchdowns. Um, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a pick, but I'm not expecting him to throw one like you. I think our running game's obviously going to do great, and I'm expecting him to help out a lot with that. And us getting Mitchell back and
Yeah.
Sermon back. Hopefully, we see him and he's not just inactive. Um, especially for these last two games, if that's all
Yes.
that we have, I'd like to see Sermon out there,
I
especially.
do too, especially because we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. How we're getting a little concerned about Elijah Mitchell. He's we're going into the 16th week of football, and he already has 4 injuries. It was his finger, his ribs, his knee, and then a concussion. So I don't want him to start having that injury prone tag. Just being 1 year, so his rookie year. So I really do hope that if we're gonna run the ball 35 times, he maybe only get like 15 carries. Like I don't want to see him getting ran to the ground. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I see him getting ran to the ground, so I really do hope. For Jesse, I said 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick, and then 50 yards rushing and 1 rushing touchdown. So that's my predictions on Trey.
I-
220. So I'm going under on that.
I'll go over. I
If we
don't I don't expect it to be far over that, but I'll take over.
maybe like 240, 250, somewhere like that. So yeah, I just hope that Elijah Mitchell can just go in there. Like I said, I don't want him coming back from injury and getting 20 to 25 carries already. If we have
Right.
if we have a healthy Trey Sermon, I'd like to see him get at least 10 carries. Give like 10 to him, maybe 12 to Jeff Wilson, give maybe 15 to Elijah Mitchell to spread the ball around because one, you keep him fresh, and then you're not going to run him to the ground. And I expect to see Trey run it maybe 5 to 7 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to see him running the ball 16 times like he did last time. That was atrocious. Do I see Carolina beating the Saints? Yes, because if Ian Book is going to be the quarterback, that Carolina is going to win, and I think we win. So I think it'll push our playoff ticket. But Ian Book did not look good, brother. Like, and I understand, I understand that he's a rookie and stuff like that, but he just did not look good. And Carolina, I don't know. It's a division game, so who knows? But I think Carolina wins this game. This is my opinion. I think the team we have to worry about the most are the Eagles. The Eagles are playing good football.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Book didn't play that great last week, but I mean, the Carolina quarterback carousel is, not
Yeah,
doing very well either.
yeah.
And what's his face is supposed to be starting this week.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. So, and the Saints have a good defense. The
Yeah,
Saints
they do.
also had a lot of players out with COVID and all kinds of other shit this last week
Mhm.
too. So,
Hey, Alvin
I'm not.
Kamara didn't even play, did he? Did Alvin Kamara play? I don't think he
I
did. Or did he play?
He
Oh yeah, he
did
did. He did.
because
He did.
yeah,
He
he
did. That's
did.
right. He did. That's right. Yeah. So I don't know.
And the Saints have a good defense, so I don't know if that's going to be that easy of a
Who's playing at
cakewalk for
home?
Carolina.
John, who's playing at home? I think that'll probably answer my question better. Answer your question better.
But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
really hope that we see, Mitchell, Sermon, and Jeff
Wilson.
Wilson more
Yeah.
so than freaking Hasty.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I'm so tired of the third down back Hasty experiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, we've been, saying since the beginning that we thought, the two trays are supposed to be kind of like a little package deal there, so it would be nice if we actually got to see them play together and while the running backs are getting, actually some freaking carries, not
Yeah,
just play together and
absolutely.
have to have Lance run the ball every single time. Hopefully,
Everybody, yeah.
Shanahan lets the running backs help him out this game.
Everybody in the chat, do you guys agree with that? If we run the ball like 35 times, would you like to see like maybe 10 carries from Sermon, 10 from Jeff Wilson, and maybe 15 from Mitchell, just so he's not thrown into to the fire so early coming back from injury? Because I think that Saints home game, oh, I think they played. I think they played at home this last game, didn't they? I think they played at home again. Well, I don't know. I don't know, brother. That's tough. That's a tough one, but I'm still gonna go Carolina though. I think Carolina upsets them, and then I think they get knocked out the playoffs. And I think the Eagles and the Niners will be fighting for the 6 and 7 seed. That's just my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
it'll be
yeah, I'm just
interesting.
yeah. I think the main thing that excites me, I feel like on offense that Trey is gonna have pretty much everybody healthy on offense. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like we mentioned before, he's gonna have Ayuk playing, who's I feel like, I mean, I know he has a rapport with Debo too, but I feel like Ayuk is his guy. You know what I mean?
yep,
With Ayuk playing, and like I said, George Kittle playing, from him not playing the last game. So 18 from Mitchell, 12 Wilson, yeah, 4 from Debo, yeah. See, I wanted something around there because Mitchell getting 25 carries just coming back from injury, nah,
yeah.
I'm not feeling that. That's a good breakdown,
Especially if we
Jesse. I
do
like
make
that.
it into the playoffs, we're gonna want Mitchell healthy. It's like
Yeah.
you don't want to run him into the ground these next 2 games and then he's hurt again.
Exactly. Yeah, if he gets hurt again in his next 2 games, I'm gonna be worried about him going forward. I'm gonna be honest. Plus Trey. Yeah, I agree, Tanya and Jesse. I think that's how it should be. Like we have all these running backs. Use them all. You give these teams a different look at each running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be a run first team. This is
Yeah.
supposed to be Kyle's bread and butter, so let's see
Yeah.
it. We saw,
Yeah.
the Patriots recently throw for 3 times, so there's no reason that Kyle can't put together a running game for all these running backs and a
Yeah.
running quarterback and, like just not the game plan against
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Not that kind
Absolutely.
of
No. Oh
running
yeah.
game plan.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's good. I like that too, Sam. Yeah. I mean that's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna be super excited to see how this turns out, and regardless of, like you said, the end result, I'm not gonna be mad at Trey. That's the last thing I'm gonna be mad at because this is what we've been waiting all season for. So,
Exactly.
um, and even if he goes out there and plays, decently, and we don't happen to win and we do get knocked out of the playoffs, at least he's getting that. I'd much rather lose out with Trey than win with Jimmy. And for what reason? Just for him to freaking be a bitch in the first playoff game and us lose anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Well, I think yeah,
Oh yeah, Juice too.
good show. Yeah, Juice, yeah, at the goal line.
And hopefully, we can throw the ball to Juice and not miss him wide open, and
Yeah. Well,
he
like
might
Jesse
actually get
pointed
a
out,
touchdown.
like how Jesse pointed out, it's funny how, when Trey threw that wide open ball to Debo in that Seattle game in the second half, oh, great play, and everybody dogged it. That's an easy throw. Any
Yeah,
quarterback could have made that throw, and blah blah blah. Then you get the same exact situation with Juice, and then it was people trying to make excuses for him. Oh, he had somebody in his face. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He had a clean pocket, so stop it. Like it's just, yeah. So yeah, it's just crazy.
yeah,
Juice, as you're like, he's so criminally underused in my opinion. I wish he'd get a little bit more, not really carries. He's such a good receiving fullback. Like he
yeah,
can he can legit be like a move tight end. Kind of like a Delaney Walker was, you know what I mean? I'm not
yeah,
saying he's as fast, but I'm just saying kind of like a move tight end. Like he's so good, man. So, and I feel like once we start seeing stuff with Trey, I think Kyle will open it up more. Well, he'll start using Juice more too. You know what I mean? Because you don't really have to use him much as a blocker when Trey's back there, because Trey can escape the pocket with his own legs and take off. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Juice a lot better in the passing game than in the rushing game.
Same here.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, I mean that's all we have.
Cool. I appreciate you, fam. one last thing before we go. I want to say I love you guys, man. Me and Mariah are just getting started. We appreciate the weekly love. Coming on here and supporting us. Please like and subscribe to the channel for us. And most importantly, you guys be safe for New Year's. New Year's Eve. There's a lot of crazy people out here. I actually live in Vegas. Me and Mariah both, so we see a lot of stuff that goes down here during the New Year's in Vegas, man. So many drunk drivers and stuff. So, in saying that, I'm getting out of town this weekend and going camping in Utah.
Oh,
So,
good for you.
yeah, I'm getting out of here. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Everybody have fun, but be safe at the same time. So,
Yep. As always, I appreciate you guys as well. We couldn't be doing this without you guys. Joel, I did send off your present finally, so it'll be getting there sooner or later. Hopefully it makes it. Let me know when you get it, please, so I know it made it there. All right. But yeah, everybody, happy New Year. Stay safe. I'll be putting in lots of hours since I have to work in the field of keeping this city safe. So,
yeah.
yeah, we'll see you guys
So,
next week.
let me ask you something, Mariah. Since you do the table surveillance games, how about we hook up? You tell me what table game you're surveilling. I'll go, I'll steal, and then you just act like you didn't see nothing, and we split the money. Does that work for you?
No, because
Okay,
you
I
won't be
just
able to you won't be able to steal
that's
enough
what.
that will cost me my career. So,
Oh man, that's hilarious.
but
So
yeah,
that's hilarious.
so
Yep.
we'll see you guys next week.
I
Hopefully, we
appreciate you
have
guys.
good results for Trey and everything goes well. Take care, fam.
All right, fam. Take care.